नमस्कार, सभी का स्वागत है। मैं डॉक्टर जन्मेजय तिवारी, असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर कामता प्रसाद सुंदरलाल साकेत स्नातकोत्तर महाविद्यालय। Once again, I am here taking the syllabus, continuing the syllabus of BA Part 2. In my last video, I discussed the very first essay that is prescribed in our syllabus by Francis Bacon of Studies. Today, I am going to take up another essay, the second essay, that is by the same writer Francis Bacon, and today's essay is of revenge. As you know, Francis Bacon is known for his aphoristic style. He always writes in short sentences, he always uses pithy sentences, but his sentences are full of meaning. The title of Revenge is very much symbolic, and it not only is an essay, but it also reflects the 16th century tendency of the writers. Sir Francis Bacon wrote the essay of revenge as it was a fashion during his age, during his century. Shakespeare had written a play, Hamlet, that was a revenge tragedy. The Spanish tragedy was written by Thomas Kyd, and the main theme of the play was also of revenge. Revenge was being taken in the time of Francis Bacon, and Francis Bacon, being a jurist, being a scientist, being an essayist, he was against this type of trivial revenge. In this essay, he not only discusses the types of essay, but he also prefers which revenge is good and which revenge is bad. Right, let's deal with essay, let's read the essay line by line, and then I will discuss the questions related to the chapter, related to the essay that are asked in your examination. Right, open your book and then we will start the essay line by line. The very first line of the essay says, revenge is a wild justice. Revenge is not a wild justice, not a metaphor, but Francis Bacon uses simile. Revenge is a kind of wild justice, means there are several types of wild justice and one of them is revenge. Revenge is a kind of wild justice. Francis Bacon says it is an animalistic approach to take revenge. Right, it's not humanistic, it's not taken in the civilized society, but revenge is taken in a wild society to urge to avenge the humiliations, injustices and wrongs heaped on us by others gives us some pleasure. Francis Bacon agrees, relief and satisfaction, but it's not a justice taken by the civilized ones. Francis Bacon writes, revenge is a kind of wild justice which the more man's nature runs, the more ought law to weed it out. Such tendency to pay back, such tendency to take revenge is very bad, is very wild, and according to Francis Bacon, such tendency to pay back our tormentors in their own coins is so pervasive and universal in the society. However, such a toxic and inborn tendency must be curbed through legal means. Francis Bacon says that such tendency to take revenge must be sorted out through law. Law should prevail and law should do its work, not human being. And if a human being is taking justice, is doing justice by himself, he is not human at all, he is becoming wild. Right? For as the first wrong, it does but offend law, but the revenge of that wrong puts the law out of office. फ्रांसिस बैकन का ये मानना है कि जो गलत काम करता है, जो रिवेंज लेता है, जो पहले टॉर्मेंटर है, he has put the law out of the office. He has taken law in his own hands. उसने तो कानून खुद हाथ में ले लिया है. When the tormentor inflicts harms on his subject, he breaks the law. वो कानून को तोड़ देता है. As no member of the civilized society is permitted to take law into his hand. कानून को हाथ में लेने का अधिकार किसी के पास नहीं है. अगर वो ले लेता है तो क्या होगा? तो फिर लॉ अगर हाथ में ले लेगा देन लॉ कोर्ट से तो बाहर आ जाएगा, और कोर्ट से लॉ बाहर आ जाएगा तो एवरीबडी विल बी इन्वॉल्व इन इलीगल एक्ट्स। क्लियर? So nobody is supposed to hit back his own tormentor, otherwise such acts of instant retribution is not permitted by law, right? Is not permitted by law. It's not legal at all to take revenge. In a nutshell, Francis Bacon wants to say that to take revenge is totally illegal. Nobody has the right to take law in his own hands, and retribution is not permitted. Under law, law should prevail, law should work, and the tormentor should be punished according to law, not according to wild justice. This is the basic theme that he puts in his first two sentences, right? Certainly, Francis Bacon further writes, certainly, in taking revenge, a man is but even with his enemy. There is no difference between the two. One who is tormentor and the other who is tormented. There is no difference. Both are equal if the tormentor has tormented anybody, and if the tormented is trying to take revenge, then both are equal. दोनों बराबर हो जाते हैं. Avenging a wrong or a defeat or a humiliation lets the wronged persons to draw label with his foe. Right? दोनों को बराबर ही कर देता है. And drive satisfaction, और उससे उसको संतुष्टि मिलती है. However, he chooses to forgive and forget and doesn't allow the perpetrator's evil act besmirch himself. He emerges as the true victor. Then he जो है आगे कहते हैं फ्रांसिस बेकन, if you forgive your tormentor, then you are superior to him. अब आप उससे कैसे सुपीरियर हैं? क्योंकि फॉरगिव करना इज नॉट द एक्ट ऑफ टॉर्मेंटर, बट टू फॉरगिव इज द एक्ट ऑफ डिवाइन. फॉरगिव करना तो प्रिंस का काम होता है. ही हैज द पावर टू पार्डन. तो जो पार्डन करेगा वो सुपीरियर होगा, कि जो टॉर्मेंट करेगा वो सुपीरियर होगा. ऐसा मानना है फ्रांसिस बेकन का कि वन हु पार्डन्स इज सुपीरियर. एंड द सेम फीलिंग वाज एक्सप्रेस्ड बाय William Shakespeare in his play The Merchant of Venice, when Portia says mercy is a divine justice. So Francis Bacon here once again says that mercy should be shown, और mercy show कौन कर सकता है? It is the special right, exclusive right of the prince, exclusive right of the king. Ordinary human cannot bring themselves to rise to the occasion and let the quality of pardon come to the fore. It is therefore seen that a person in exalted position such as a prince is given the authority to grant royal pardon to sinners. Only a royal person can pardon the sinners. A prince, because of his status and clout, is seldom harmed, seldom belittled. वो कभी हार्म नहीं होता, वो कभी बिलिटिल नहीं होता. सो ही इज नॉट जनरली ग्रिप्ड बाय एंगर अगेंस्ट कॉमनर्स. कॉमनर्स पर उसको बिल्कुल गुस्सा नहीं आता. एंड दिस अलाउज हिम टू हैव अ ब्रॉड माइंड. दिस अलाउज हिम टू हैव अ गुड क्वालिटी, एंड दैट गुड क्वालिटी इज मर्सी. मर्सी है, दया करना है, और ये एक्सपेक्ट करता है किससे? किंग से, सुपरमैन से. मीन्स जो फॉरगिवर है, he is superior to the tormentor. Right? If he forgives them, if he forgives a tormentor, if he forgives the person who has committed the crime, who has humiliated him, अगर उसको माफ कर देता है तो वो महान बन जाता है. ऐसा फ्रांसिस बेकन का मानना है. as he thinks in his essay, the one who forgives is greater than the tormentor, greater than the criminal who has committed the crime. And he gives the example of the wisest man of the world, Solomon. And Solomon, I am sure with says, Solomon ये कहता है, it is the glory of a man to pass by an offense. It is the glory of a man, it is the fame of a man to pass by an offense. To pass by means to neglect, to ignore. Prophet Solomon had claimed it is the glory of a man to pass by an offense. This means that a person who ignores the hurt and humiliation caused to him by others can lay claim to great glory and adulation. And such persons are always respected, they are always adulated, they are always exalted if they have forgiven their जो है tormentor. And evil once done becomes history, right? And evil once done becomes history. That which is past is gone, right? Writes Francis Bacon. That which is past is gone and irrevocable. That has been done. Macbeth कहता है that is done can't be undone. So is the case with revenge. अगर किसी ने आपको जो है पनिश किया है, किसी ने आपको ह्यूमिलेट किया है, ऑफेंड किया है, इट मीन्स यू कैन नॉट रिवर्ट इट. आप उसे रिवर्ट तो कर ही नहीं सकते. एंड वाइज मैन हैव एनफ टू डू विथ थिंग्स प्रेजेंट एंड टू कम, राइट. दो जो क्राइम कमिट हुआ है वो तो बीत ही चुका है. जो बुद्धिमान आदमी है, जो इंटेलेक्चुअल आदमी है, वो अपने प्रेजेंट पर जो है भरोसा करता है, ना कि वो जो है पास्ट पर भरोसा करता है. एज यू नो दैट पास्ट इज irrevocable. पास्ट तो कभी चेंज किया ही नहीं जा सकता. A wise man should always pay heed to the present. Therefore, they do not trifle with themselves that labor in past matters. So, the intelligent people जो है, they do not indulge in taking revenge, but they forgive and proceed. आगे बढ़ जाते हैं, नया काम करते हैं, कुछ नया सोचते हैं. They are not involved in taking revenge at all. They have greater mind, they are wiser, they are superior to others, right? This is the message that Francis Bacon wants to convey, that Francis Bacon wants to deliver. To give, to forgive, to show mercy is a divine quality, and one who forgives is superior and more powerful than the others. Clear? And for this he gives the example of Solomon. Solomon was द वाइजेस्ट प्रॉफिट, और उसको जो है कोट करके कहता है कि जिसने भी, जो वाइज मैन होते हैं वो भूल जाते हैं अपने ऊपर किए हुए ऑफेंस को, और वो पास्ट को भूल जाते हैं. एज पास्ट इज पास्ट एंड इट इज irrevocable. It cannot be undone, it cannot be changed. So they think, they ponder over the future, they ponder over the present for the betterment of their life. They do not involve, they do not go back in the past. Clear? There is no man does a wrong for the wrong's sake. फ्रांसिस बेकन आगे लिखते हैं कि ऐसा तो कोई आदमी ही नहीं है जो गलत काम के लिए गलत काम करे. Seldom does a man indulge in a wicked or immoral act just for the sake of it, just for the heck of it. ऐसा तो कभी करता ही नहीं है. But thereby to purchase himself profit or pleasure or honor or the like. ऐसा काम करता क्यों है? What motivates him to do an abominable act can be just anything. The lure of profit, getting some pleasure, to get some undeserved honor. कुछ ना कुछ पाने के लिए वो ऐसा काम करता रहता है, राइट. चाहे उसे कुछ प्रॉफिट मिले, चाहे प्लेजर मिले, चाहे अनडिजर्विंग ऑनर मिले, राइट. इन द प्रोसेस ही स्टैंड्स टू गेन सम मटेरियल बेनिफिट और सम मेंटल प्लेजर. इसलिए ऐसा काम करता है. Therefore, why should I be angry with the man for loving himself better than me? This is the question posed by Francis Bacon, right? With great equanimity and rare sense of accommodation, Bacon asks himself why he should be annoyed if someone does something to amuse himself. अगर कोई आदमी अपने आप को खुश रखने के लिए कुछ करता है तो हमें उससे गुस्सा क्यों आनी चाहिए? And if any man should do wrong merely out of ill nature, why yet it is but like the thorn or briar which prick and scratch because they can do no other. अगर वो ऐसा करता है तो भी हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते, क्योंकि ऐसा करना उसका काम ही है. इल नेचर है उसका कि वो दूसरों के साथ गलत ही करे, कभी भी अच्छा काम ना करे. क्लियर? इन इंस्टांसेस where a person does something that is really very upsetting, we must pause and realize that he has been cursed to have a mind that loves sadistic pleasure. Such persons का जो है माइंड ही sadistic pleasure में आनंद लेता है, दूसरों को दुखी करने में सुख उसको मिलता है. Such people are condemned to miserable existence. They are cursed by God. We can't do anything. In a way, they deserve to be pitied and forgiven because like a thorn, कांटे की तरह, they do not do anything other than pricking and inflicting pain. ऐसे लोग पेन के अलावा और कुछ दे ही नहीं सकते. An ill-natured man is like a thorn, condemned to live like a mischief maker and nuances in the society. This is enough punishment for him. He is not respected. He is always thought to be a pain giver. He is always thought to have a mind of sadistic pleasure. He never entertains others, but he entertains himself by inflicting pain on others. This is his nature, and he is a miserable person. He has been cursed to have such a temperament, such attitude. उसमें उसकी कोई गलती ही नहीं है, उसका temperament ही ऐसा है. The most sort of revenge is for those wrongs which there is no law to remedy. Bacon आगे बढ़ते हुए कहते हैं कि to make certain concessions for the revenge seeker, और रिवेंज सीकर के लिए प्रस्ताव ये है, he feels there can be certain loathsome and irritable acts for which there is no legal remedy. ऐसे भी कुछ चीजें हैं जिनका कोई इलाज ही नहीं है, जो कानून के दायरे से ही बाहर हैं. But then let a man take heed the revenge be such as there is no law to punish, else a man's enemy is still beforehand and it is two for one. Right? As a result क्या होगा कि जो perpetrator है, जो inflictor है, जो pain giver है, cannot be brought to book. He will never be punished and so get away with his crime, और crime करके बच भी जाएगा. In such circumstances, taking revenge can be acceptable recourse, and if there is no law to punish such person as such crime, then revenge is the best thing. उसको punishment जरूर मिलनी चाहिए, फिर चाहे वो revenge की तरह ही क्यों ना हो. Bacon, however, adds a caveat here. कहते हैं the act of revenge must be carefully chosen. Right? Some, when they take revenge, are desirous the party should know whence it comes. This is more generous. Right? It should be outside the purview of the prevailing law, so that the victim, the wrongdoer, the earlier, can't sue the avenger. In some cases, the avenger sets up his act such that the victim, the wrongdoer जो है, gets to know the source of his trouble. This gives the avenger some satisfaction. Such a move could not be as evil as leaving the victim to wonder who harmed him. Bacon seems to approve of this. It limits the chance of the person turning on the other innocent people. Right? तो बैकन का यह कहना है कि जब भी आप रिवेंज लें तो उसको बता भी दें कि आप रिवेंज क्यों ले रहे हैं, और अगर आप क्राइम करें तो भी बता दें. ऐसा ना हो क्राइम आप करें और उसका रिजल्ट जो है उसका पनिशमेंट किसी और को मिले. For the delight seems not to be so much in doing the hurt as in making the party repent. और अगर ऐसा आप करेंगे, when the जो है क्रिमिनल जो है perpetrator जो है, he gets to know that the person he wronged has come back to him with vengeance, he will be deterred from repeating his earlier mischief. And if he comes to know that the person whom he had harmed has come back to take revenge, then he will be deterred, and Francis Bacon thinks that he will be improved, he will be reformed, and he will be thinking that he would never commit such crime again. He may feel some remorse, thinking that he should not have in the first place indulged himself in the evil act. But base and crafty cards are like the arrow that flies in the dark. अब कैसे लोगों की बात कर रहा है? जो बेस लोग होते हैं, जो लोअर रैंकर्स होते हैं, जो क्राफ्टी कार्ड्स होते हैं, जो शातिर हैं, कायर भी हैं, वो तो ऐसे तीर चलाते हैं बिल्कुल अंधेरे में, वो किसी को भी जा करके लग सकता है. However, vile and crooked persons do not have the moral strength to admit that they did the wrong things. This complicates the situation. Situation इससे और ज़्यादा complicated हो जाती है और ज़्यादा खराब हो जाती है. Cosmas का एग्जाम्पल देता है. Cosmas, Duke of Florence, he had some friends who were either deceitful or insincere in their friendship. Their nature used to annoy Cosmas a lot. बहुत परेशान करता रहता था. He admonished their supercilious and favor-seeking attitude rather strongly. He warned them, उनको चेतावनी भी देता था, that he would never pardon them, although he was fully empowered to pardon offenders. He had the power to empower था वो कि वो उनको माफ कर दे, लेकिन कभी माफ नहीं करता था. Cosmas, Duke of Florence, had a desperate saying against perfidious or neglecting friends, as if those wrongs were unpardonable. You shall read, saith he, that we are commanded to forgive our enemies. ऐसा कहता था कि he has the power to forgive his enemies, but you never read that we are commanded to forgive our friends. लेकिन आपको ऐसा कहीं नहीं मिलेगा कि हम अपने फ्रेंड्स को भी फॉरगिव कर दें. ऐसा हमें कोई अधिकार नहीं है, और वो जानता था कि ऐसे लोग हैं और ऐसा उनको करने देता था. But yet the spirit of Job was in better tune. अब एक और एग्जाम्पल देता है बाइबल से. Job is a biblical character and he gave some sound advice in that matter. और वो एडवाइस क्या देता है? Shall we, saith he, take good at God's hands and not be content to take evil also. अगर हम गॉड के हैंड से अच्छी चीजें ले लें और बुरी चीजें ना लें. He wondered, if we gratefully accept from the hands of God only those things that we like and refuse those not to our liking. This is also true in our friendship. हमारे बहुत सारे दोस्त होते हैं. Then we should take only the good things, not the bad ones, and so friends in proportion. This is certain that a man that studieth revenge keeps his own wounds green. ऐसा आदमी जो रिवेंज लेने की सोचता है, उसके घाव हमेशा हरे होते हैं, कभी भरते नहीं हैं. He always keeps on thinking about taking revenge. Right? He cannot think anything further than the revenge, so his wounds are always green. उसके घाव हमेशा हरे भरे ही होते हैं. Which revenge are for the most part unfortunate. Here Francis Bacon divides two types of revenge. Public revenge जो है और private revenge है. दो टाइप का रिवेंज है. पब्लिक रिवेंज वो है जो जनता लेती है जनता के लिए, और प्राइवेट रिवेंज जो है जो हम अपने पर्सनल रीजन से लेते हैं. दो टाइप के रिवेंज की बात करते हैं फ्रांसिस बेकन. कौन कौन से रिवेंज हैं? पब्लिक रिवेंज क्या है? पब्लिक रिवेंज आर फॉर द मोस्ट पार्ट फॉर्चुनेट. In the eyes of Francis Bacon, public revenge is fortunate. Public revenge is acceptable. क्यों acceptable है? He gives the example as that for the death of Caesar. He quotes the death of William Caesar. Julius Caesar was avenged by Mark Antony, Lepidus, and Octavius Caesar in the very first century BC. He was assassinated. Julius Caesar was assassinated by a group of conspirators led by Casca, Cassius, Cinna, and Brutus. And he was a public figure. He was killed. And then Mark Antony announced his will that Julius Caesar wanted to give 75 drakes to all the Romans, and he wanted to open the royal garden for the public. और इस बात पर जनता भड़क जाती है, और जनता फिर वन बाय वन सबको जो है ढूंढती है. एंड ईच कॉन्स्पिरेटर वाज either committed suicide or killed by the public. So that was called public revenge, and Francis Bacon justifies the public revenge. He gives another example for the death of Pertinax. Pertinax was also a Roman emperor. For the death of Henry III जो है of France. Henry III of France का एग्जाम्पल देता है. He was also avenged by the public and many more. But in private revenge it is not so. So nay, rather vindictive persons live the life of the witches. Those who want to take revenge, they live the life of supernatural creatures. They live the life of witches who, as they are mischievous, so end they infortunate. जो हमेशा ही वो मिस्चीवियस होते हैं और उनका एंड भी मिस्चीवियस में ही होता है, मिसफॉर्चून में ही होता है. ऑन द अदर हैंड, urge the revenge lying deep in one's mind can be really toxic. Surely but slowly this devilish passion consumes the bearer. These people live miserably and die miserably from the beginning to end. They have the same life. They are never happy. They are always involved in taking revenge. And if one is thinking of taking revenge day and night, then he will be committing more errors. His life will be miserable. His life will be very much pathetic, and such pathetic life is never good. And those who want to take revenge, they live the life of supernatural creatures. They are being compared to witches, right? So in the essay we have seen that Francis Bacon does not support revenge, right? Though to take revenge was the fashion in his time, fashion में था. He doesn't support, though finally he supports the public revenge. Public revenge is good, but private revenge is totally bad. It should be avoided. This is the main motto, this is the main theme of the essay. I hope you would have enjoyed the essay, and you will be writing your comments in the comment box, and that will give me a very much pleasure. Your feedback is always invited, and your feedback always motivates us, right? थैंक यू. मिलेंगे एक नई वीडियो में जल्दी ही एक नए राइटर के साथ. तब तक आप एंजॉय करते रहिए, अपनी पढ़ाई करते रहिए, बने रहिए, हैप्पी रहिए, हेल्दी रहिए. थैंक यू. ऑल द बेस्ट.